protectors have been around for a really long time, and the technology hasn't really changed much. And rightfully so. They aren't that complicated. It's just a means of protecting your upper torso. Options vary from types that have a lot of mobility and low protection to a lot of protection and what some would consider a limited mobility.
So why is it that a lot of people don't wear them at all? Or if they do, they go for a thinner version than the hard exterior body armor types? What does the data say about impacts and whether or not these things can actually help us and if they're worth wearing one at all? Let's find out.
When it comes to chest protectors, there are a lot of options out there. You have the external, harder plastic, thicker models, all the way to the lighter, under the jersey foam types. But if the point of a chest protector is to, well, protect your chest, which one should you be interested in getting?
You okay, dude? You okay, buddy? Can you still move everything?
Oh, I'm good. You got a chest protector on?
No.
I'm good.
You good?
I just hit.
Okay, so I have three types here ranging from the soft internal type all the way up to these hard outer shell ones. Now, first of all, let's look at this soft internal one and let's talk about the pros and cons to using one like this versus some of the others.
Pros, well, it's lighter weight and allows for more mobility. But cons, it doesn't offer much protection. Not only is the surface area that's covered not very much, even the protection itself is not all that stiff.
So it does offer some protection, albeit not a lot. Now you're giving up some protection for a whole lot of mobility. Now I've worn this thing quite a bit and it does protect you from, honestly, like a little bit of roost and not a lot more. It's definitely not my preferred choice when it comes to protection while you're out on the track. So let's look up the next option, which is sort of still an under the jersey chest protector, but it's made of a harder shell and it certainly covers more surface area. Let's talk about the pros and cons of something like this.
You do have a few different options for this type of chest protector, and this is just one variation of those. This type offers a little less mobility than the foam version, but increases in its ability to protect you. So you give a little, get a little. The pros are that it protects a little more, and the cons are it doesn't allow for as much ventilation, and it's slightly more bulky.
Yeah, so this one is kind of that middle of the road, right? It's like, I want a little more protection than just this soft internal one, but I'm not quite ready to go to this hard body armor type one. It does offer a little more protection, however, it does have some cons, like I mentioned. Wearing a neck brace, trying to get that to fit into this groove can be somewhat of an issue, but it certainly covers a larger area than something like this does. Now that being said, if you were to ask me, is there still a better option out there when it comes to protection? And the answer is yes.
Finally, the last option is the external hard, thick chest protector. There are loads of these available in all different shapes, sizes, and colors to fit whatever you like. Without a doubt, there are some pros and cons to this one, just like all the other ones. Pros, it's unmatched in its ability to protect your torso. It has the best overall coverage of any areas on your torso that might be affected, as well as a strong ability to protect you from blunt force trauma, as well as any piercing trauma such as a handlebar. Cons? Well, your mobility while wearing one is much more limited than other versions, but it's not like you think. You can still move quite easily. Additionally, if you're wearing a neck brace, they have to be able to fit together properly and have to be compatible. You can't just slap on any neck brace with any chest protector. It just doesn't work that way, so you have to do some homework if you're looking at getting a combination.
Okay, so we've looked at the various options here. Now, I recognize that these are not the end-all be-all. There are a ton of options when it comes to internal ones. A lot of the newer ones from Alpine Stars, a lot of the pros wear these fancy ones, all that kind of stuff. But I'm just trying to give you a basic idea of some levels of protection, I guess. Pretty soft, all the way up to really hard. So that's fantastic. Now we know kind of what's out there, give or take. But what about the incidents while we're wearing these things? Will they actually protect us? Are they going to help us the way that we think that they're going to help us? Let's see if we can find some data to support anything.
Because motocross is somewhat of a niche sport, especially compared to football or something of that nature, there aren't a lot of studies that specifically target chest injuries relating to direct impacts. So, largely, we have to rely on common sense and some anecdotal evidence to suggest whether or not these will help us.
Now, I know what some people are going to say. They're going to say, Mitch, that's not really proof. Well, I think that's a lot like saying, I've heard it hurts to break your arm, but I've never actually seen a study to prove it. I think there are some things that we can reason our way through, and I think if nothing else, it's at least going to give us a good direction, a good place to start, but when we're looking at whether or not these things can stop something that might actually hurt us.
It stands to reason that having a type of armor surrounding your torso is a good idea. Not so much for the pesky rocks that slam into us at 100 miles an hour, sure those hurt, but they're not really going to hurt us severely. But more so for the tree branches, the handlebars, the foot pegs, shift levers, or anything else that we might find ourselves landing on top of during an accident or having pile into us. And using that plane of thinking, it also stands to reason that the harder and larger the protective area, the better off we'll be.
So my train of thinking is it's going to be a lot better if you have a harder plastic that's covering a larger area that's going to protect you. That seems pretty reasonable to me. Now, I don't have any studies to suggest it, but I do have some anecdotal evidence. First of all, I've taken a handlebar right into the chest while wearing one of these chest protectors, and it actually broke the chest protector in half. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I can only assume that if I wasn't wearing a hard chest protector, even if I had something like this, odds are that it probably would have impaled me. I mean, to break this hard of plastic, that's quite an impact. And secondly, another rider that I know was riding on trails. He went off the trail, went into the trees, and he wasn't wearing a hard chest protector. He was impaled by the tree, went right through and touched, and was like poking out the back of his skin, missed his heart by like an inch. He miraculously survived, believe it or not, and he still has the stick stuck in his garage with the jersey with all the blood on it. I think that's pretty cool. It's kind of I mean, it's a weird keepsake, but it's kind of a keepsake nonetheless to say that you survived such a thing. However, from talking to him, he does fully understand and fully agree that should he have been wearing a harder chest protector like this type of thing, if nothing else, it would have slowed it down or it would have deflected it. It would have helped in some way. You've got to reason your way through that, right? So I know it's a deeply personal thing. Some people might want to choose mobility and breathability over protection. That's totally up to you. It's totally your choice. Personally, I like to go with the harder ones. I know they don't look as cool, but I'm in it for a long time, not a good time. So if it makes me look a little more dorky because I'm wearing this hard external armor, and it's going to offer a little more protection than this sheet, I mean, I think you can compare the two for yourself. This wraps around. It has way more protection than some of the other options out there, and more protection is better for me. I like being able to get up off the ground if I do actually have an incident and hit the ground. But I hope you liked the video. Hope it helped you in some way. If so, smash that subscribe button for me. You know I appreciate it. So no matter whatever chest protector you decide to pick up, I'll throw some links below on various types that you can get. Like I said, there's lots of options out there. It's going to be a personal thing, but this is what I run. I'll put a link below if that seems like something you're interested in. Another big part of it that I really like is that it's from Leatt, which they do their neck brace thing, but it also is set up for neck braces. It has the grooves that it's going to fit into that makes it pretty convenient. So I'll put a link below for all that stuff. Anyway, hope you liked the video. If you're not wearing one of these, or if you are wearing one of these, definitely ride safe, stay safe. We'll see you out on the track, trail, or road.